introduce you to my next guest, my guest for today. She has one of the biggest hearts of anyone that I know. She's exceptionally talented, and let me just read you her official bio. I'm not going to read you the whole thing because I think she sent me like 17 pages, which just he's giggling over there, which is really great because it speaks to the breadth of who she is and what she does. So Mary Carol Fitzgerald, also known as MC, is a lifestyle branding and fine art photographer. If you've seen any of my images, my pictures where I'm in the turquoisey beads around my neck, those are the photos that Mary Carol took of me. She's a specialist in visual branding and content creation for service-based entrepreneurs and business owners. One of the things from her bio that I loved, and I'm going to find it, is that she says, where is it? No. Oh my gosh, this is really, I love you so much. It was something about, and why I love what she does and what she wrote was that there's a way that we can draw people into us. And I think the work that she does, there's a soulful nature to it. So when your spirit and your soul are expressed, especially in photography, it's magical. It's magical and it's powerful. So without further ado, and we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff today, I am going to go over to this fancy page over here, and I'm going to introduce you to my amazing friend, Mary Carol, MC. Hello. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm excited to have you. Yay. We were a couple minutes late, but we're on island time.
Yes, island time, MC time.
MC time, Kristen time. It's all good. So thank you so much for being here and just agreeing to participate in this dialogue of soul, wit, and wisdom, which most people say yes to coming on and really don't know what we're going to talk about. And that's the way I like it, because it gets to be organic and natural and authentic and go wherever it's supposed to go today, right now.
Awesome.
So one of the first things that I want to do is just talk about how you got to do the work that you do. I read that you basically grew up with a camera, like in your face. And so tell, just explain how you got to be, a photographer and doing what you do. I know you do a lot of stuff around like fitness and yoga. And so let's share with folks out there who you are.
Well, first of all, Kristen, thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here. I just love you so much, and I love what you are doing in this whole mission you're on.
Thank you.
So I basically grew up with a camera. I've been photographing since I was in elementary school, and I've really been soul searching, more about that, like in the sense of like where that comes from and like how long I've had a camera in my hands and why I have my camera, and why I love taking photos, not taking photos, but creating photos. Yeah. There was something that, kind of just came through to me not too long ago. And it's like, I'm not taking pictures anymore. I am creating imagery. I am creating, capturing moments in life and capturing beauty in the essence of what life is and what the essence of it is. And so when I was younger, I've got 4 other siblings, so there's 5 of us, and I'm the youngest of 5. There's I think 5 years, from me to the next, and then 11 years total in the gap. And so when I was growing up, I was often, it was kind of like an only child at times. Like I was, I had my camera is what I found to be like a best friend. Like I was never alone without it. Yeah. And so I was really like, I would be exploring nature and sunsets and flowers and this and that, and like really like being present in the moment. And that's what it's coming back to. Like, that's what I'm starting to remember. And it's like coming home to me when I think about how I got started in it, and it's really about the presence. And so growing up, I always had it with me. And I didn't specialize in photography, like in the sense of like a professional career. Like once I had gotten started, I was in the real estate background. and we had a family real estate business, and I wanted to go to school for photography, but I didn't do that, and like, whatever. So it ended up coming back to me, like sooner or later. So and here I am. It's it was a calling of mine.
And you take magical pictures. Like a lot of your photos, I went through a lot of the photos that you have on your social media pages, and it's I know there's a connection for you with Turks and Caicos, and we can talk about that later, but like just beautiful landscape imagery, and which is so it's transformational. Just in like when I look at images like that, I'm taken there. Like I am transported there. It's a visceral feeling for me, and it's an emotional response. It's beautiful and it's gorgeous. So weave in like all of the things. I know you said real estate, but like yoga, fitness. I know you've done a lot of like photography for fitness professionals and that kind of thing. So how did that weave in?
Yeah. So when I moved to Chicago in 2010, I was in the real estate business, and so that was my full-time job. I had was realtor in Florida for many years, and then that's just what I knew. And so I was like, but I knew that I had this dream of being a professional photographer and having that be my full-time thing. And the market had crashed in 2008. And I still hung on to the whole, like to what I knew, but not really knowing how to do photography as a business. I was doing real estate. And so I'm like, okay, well, the market crashed, and and it took many, several years to come back to come back together. But like I was burnt out by that point, and
in real estate.
Yeah. And when I moved to Chicago, I had started doing event photography, fitness photography. And the way that I got involved in the fitness photography was through barter, through trade. And it was through connection. It was through a friend of mine who I remember I was at a house party, rooftop. I was on a rooftop, and a friend of mine was like, hey, you like to work out, and introducing me to this other friend of mine, who I've been friends with now since then. And he's like, and you are a personal trainer, you need new photos, talking to this person over here, and you guys need to connect. And then it was like this match made in heaven with fitness photography. And I'm getting personal training classes, and that's where, and that's really the core of how that started, because that actually had led me into yoga, because I was doing strength training, kettlebell training, and I was running. So I would like run like 3 miles to go to kettlebell training on the beach in Chicago. And then I would do an hour of strength training, and then I would run back. And I was like so stiff and sore. I'm just like, oh my God, and then my trainer, Rob Miller, who I absolutely love. He's like, have you ever tried yoga? I'm like, yoga? Like what's yoga? He's like, that's going to be able to like stretch you out and like lengthen and get lean,
release all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes. And so so then that led me to yoga, which I met another best friend in yoga, which I was working with Lululemon, doing their photography for them, and that's how. And then I was doing photography for entrepreneurs and people that were the face of their business, is what I was calling them, not even realizing it was like entrepreneurial photography. But yes, people that are the face of their business and who need to get out there and show who they are and what they do.
I'm sure there's a lot of us. We have quite a community. There's a lot of us. So, and I know a lot of our community have had their picture taken by you, me being one of them. All right. So let's switch gears a little bit. I keep asking my guests who come on to share, really one of the gifts that I want this interview, the series of interviews that I'm doing, is to teach people who are watching, or to share with people who are watching, how, my guests have gone from, wow, shit has just broken down. I'm just imagining the whole crash of the market, and major, real estate kind of went in the toilet. So it's like, pick an event from your life, something that occurred in your life that really was like a breakdown and what you discovered about yourself to rise up out of that and create something new.
Great topic, and I love actually talking about this because it just stems off of like right from there. I was needing to renew my broker's license in Chicago, in Illinois. I was actually in the Turks and Caicos at the time when I had to renew it, and it was like a 35-hour like online something or another, and it just literally like made like I felt like this knot in my stomach, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. And a friend of mine, a very good family friend, who's like an aunt to me, who she was just like, MC, if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Can we just pause for a second?
Yes.
Like, this is literally what I am telling everyone. And this is so great. And we'll talk about it. I'm sure it'll wrap back around to this, but like in this moment right now, we are actually given an opportunity.
Yes.
Like, what is the pit? Like, what is the thing that's the pit in your stomach?
Yes.
It could be the job and or the career, or it could be a relationship, which I know is hard to. Yes. So keep going, because I'm just like, oh my God, this is why I love this. Like, if it's not, here's what I'm saying. If it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. And that's how I'm making decisions. So in those moments, sometimes it has to be a literal stomach ache.
Yes. And guess what that's called? Intuition.
Yes.
Listening to your gut. Listening to your intuition with power and with conviction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you ignore that, then bumpy roads ahead.
So did you ignore that or did you not?
For the first time in my life, I listened to it.
Nice.
You know, and then there was other challenges and things along the way that I didn't listen to, and there were still bumpy roads. You know what I mean? Like I learned over the years. It's like, and I still listen to it sometimes, but it's like it's closing that gap. It's closing that gap on the awareness of when your higher self, when your instinct, when your gut instinct is talking to you, and when you're like, oh yes, okay, I hear you. Thank you for showing up. And I have a choice to either listen to you or to not listen to you. And, you know, what is my choice? Because we all have a choice. We always have a choice.
In every moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it all the time.
Right.
It doesn't feel like it all the time because choices have, implications. If I make this choice, I've got these implications. If I make this choice, and sometimes I think if this resonates with you, you probably didn't make that choice the first time, that it was like that sinking feeling, like I just don't want to be doing this anymore. Yeah. And what I call a tap, like a light tap, and then a nudge, and then a shove, and then a 2x4 across your forehead, like you're gonna get the message. It's just how painful do you want it to be delivered?
Yes, and what my sister Carrie calls it is when you're not listening, it's an aggressive universal adjustment.
Aggressive? I'm writing that down. Aggressive universal adjustment. Yes. Because if you're not listening, you're not listening. And it's like, come on, like smack you upside the head. I've had many of those. And usually they come in, for mine, they've come in the form of health. Yes. Like I had and we'll get back to your story, but I was training for something, and I'm running and I'm training and I'm running and I'm running uphill. And I'm like, and I had this it was plantar fasciitis. And here was my response to that. And I had other little twinges up until then. I was like, I do not have time for plantar fasciitis. So I just kept going. I just kept running. And like a month later, I blew my ACL. Oh, and this is what I did. This is what happens with me. I go like this, got it. Like some of them have to be extreme. Aggressive, universal adjustment.
Yes.
Got it. Like got the message. And sometimes people, and I really feel like that is a lot of what this is the environment that we're in right now. It's an opportunity to look. Yep. So in that moment, your aunt says to you, if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Was it a moment of was it a moment of like, oh, I'm going to disappoint people, or people are like, what went through what was the decision? Like, how did you finally make the decision?
I was literally sitting at the computer, like at the computer, ready to like take this test. 35 hours of me in the Turks and Caicos, like on vacation, like to have to take this test within a few days or whatever it was. You know, I'm like, why would I be wasting my time doing this if I feel so like not good about this? Like it didn't feel right, you know? And I'm like, okay, no, I'm not doing it. And I just let it go. Okay. Let it go, you know? And it's like that has been the number one lesson of my life is what the fuck does, pardon my language, but what does,
why are you kidding? I just F-bombed it earlier. You know who I am.
I'm like, what? That's right. Who am I talking to here?
I know, come on.
What does that mean? What does let it go mean? I remember when I was sitting in the parking garage, a parking garage where I parked my car like a block away from where I was living in Chicago, downtown. And I would back my car in and I would sit there and cry. And I was crying. I was just, you know, I was in this turmoil of finding out what I was doing and where I was going. And I think during that time too, I was doing a 40-day transformation, a yoga transformation. I was into yoga at this point.
Yeah. Which is transformational, which is going to like, it is like, look here, look at, yeah.
And I was looking at the cars in the other row in front of me, you know, and the license plates, and pondering this question, let it go. What does that mean? What does it mean to let it go? You know, and I literally saw let it go on a license plate, you know, on the other side of the parking lot. And I'm like, really? Like, really? Go. And then like 3 months later, I was in the same spot and I was looking at the car and it was like a 6 and not a G or something like that. I mean, it was like it did not say that anymore. You know what I mean? But like, It was there. And that's another thing too, is like being open to the awareness of the signs that are presented to you. And because there's signs everywhere. And so like, to answer your question, like, what was I feeling or whatever your question was like,
what had you? Yeah.
In that moment, I was probably filled with fear and like unknowingness, not knowing, uncertainty. You know, uncertainty often brings fear. What are we going through now? Like a lot of people are filled with fear. You know, again, I've got chills like going down my entire body, you know, because it's the truth. Like that is something that we get to trust. We get to trust in this uncertain time that everything's going to be okay, that everything's going to work out, that we are protected, that we are guided, that we have, like, there's abundance, there's infinite abundance in this world, in this universe, from source energy. And we get to trust and we get to have that faith that it's all going to work out, because it will, but we have to trust it.
Yeah.
You have to be the one to trust it. You have to be the one to know that it's going to work out. Everything's going to be okay, you know? And like that's like just such a huge lesson to move forward in life with conviction and confidence with where you're going.
I love it.
Where this world is going.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love it. So given the current climate right now, a lot of people are saying things like, I just wanted to go back. I just want to go back to what, you know, to the way it was. I want to go back to work. I want to, you know, like schools and businesses open. So what's your feeling? What are your thoughts on that?
Just having a conversation with some team members yesterday about this. It's like, some of us were just like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this to be over yet. Like, you know, like I also was feeling that I was already preparing for this. I mean,
absolutely, 100%.
You know, like I was already spending time at home. I was already, you know, retreating within, in a sense, and self-reflecting. And this is the time that we are being called to be to just be and not to feel guilty for being. Stop all the busyness and the doing and feeling like you have to do something all the time, because that's how I am. Like, I mean, even if I'm at home, and not going out anywhere, I always feel like I have to be doing something. Like, I very rarely will just sit down and just sit and just, like, oh, hey, there's a bird on the telephone pole over there on the telephone wire, Oh, have you noticed the things in your home? Have you noticed the plants in your garden? Like, really noticed? Have you taken a look around at everything that there is in your life and given it really some generous, loving, grateful thoughts? Like, thank you for being here. Like, thank you, coffee mug. That a very wonderful coaching friend of mine gave me, that is my favorite now, Thomas. And it's like the little things that we often overlook in life. I mean, and that's part of what I capture in the moments with through photography. It's looking at the moments in life and that are fleeting, blades of grass, the clouds in the sky, and pondering for a moment in the presence of what is. Thank you for helping me write my book.
Pretty much. I'll send you the transcript and just mention me, just in your acknowledgments.
I will. You're on the front pages.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's a spiritual process. It can be a spiritual process if we're open to it. If we can choose to look at this as an opportunity.
Yes.
Like, I am clear. I posted something on my Facebook page. It was yesterday or the day before. Complete this sentence. Dear Pandemic 2020, thank you for. And for me, my gratitude for this isn't people dying. It isn't people getting sick. It isn't people losing money, although I think that is actually a benefit to us to have our things in question. Really, when all of this shit hit the fan, those really starting to hit the fan, it was for me this unbelievable moment of freedom.
Yeah.
And this, Jesus, take the wheel. I was literally great, because the way that I'm operating right now is leaving me depleted and tired and frustrated and stressed and ineffective. Like, you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. This is how we met. Same community. We've done the transformational work, the same transformational work. And there is this inherent, it's part of our culture, is to produce, to go, to drive, to deliver, to overwork, it's the badge of overworking, right? And then if you have kids, there's that extra layer, of just constantly going. And for me, the blessing in this, and I too have been calling this in, it really for me occurred okay, everyone's pausing. Okay, great. Now actually thank you so much that I'm not going to be the only one who's really in this place of what's really important? If everything went away, really, if my income went away, which most of it has, I do have a spouse who's working, but even if that went away, I have a house, what is the most important thing? It's the people. It's the people in my life, the people that matter to me. It's not my job title. It's not my role. It's not my stuff. It's not my income level. So if all of it went away, it's the great equalizer.
Yeah.
It's the great connector, because it literally is we may not be having the same impacts. Some people aren't impacted necessarily financially, but we're having the same opportunity.
Yeah.
It's magical.
It's super magical. Super magical. And it's to have this opportunity to be in that love, connection, and commitment to each other. Because our connection to each other, our relationships with each other, with humanity, with Mother Nature, with the energy that is, it's the energy. We are all connected. Like, this is no mistake that this happened. This is no mistake. I believe that we, as humanity as a whole, called this in, you know, and you can say BS to that if you don't want to be responsible for that. But I'm completely 100% responsible for what is going on right now in this day and age. You know, whether I'm the, you know, best recycler in the world or not. Like, you know, this is us as a whole, and we operate in our daily lives. What are we doing? Because it starts with us and the integrity and keeping our word with ourselves. And all of that starts with us as individuals, that goes out into your family, that goes into your community, that goes into your, you know, out in there into the world.
One of the things that I think became so obvious to me and so beautiful isn't only that we're all in this. The world is in this together. Like, this is unprecedented, that this is a global impact in this moment. Not like like, yes, China, we were on kind of a wave, like where it's hitting and all that. And that unites us, right? Like, we're all, the other thing that unites us is the interconnectivity of human life. Not even just human life, but like us. Like, if my clients stop paying me, I stop paying my bills and my mortgage, and then the mortgage company. So it's like the thread of things that connect us, and not only us, but us to the planet, being able to be grounded. Like, y'all are in a timeout. Like, human beings, retreat, right? Like, sit down. You're in the corner for timeout, like, in a sense, right? Not from a punishment standpoint, but just like, wow, what an opportunity to allow the world to recover for a moment. When I say that, I mean nature.
Yes. Well, and it like you said, not from a punishment standpoint, but so many people are feeling that it's a punishment, and as opposed to an opportunity. And how do we turn, like, you know, the adversity into this beautiful outcome of what we can create from it, from this situation? Because
so in that moment, I want to go back to when it was like the pit in your stomach. I got to do this 35 hours. I'm not doing it. There's a moment right there where you choose. And then what was it? And I think I just want to make sure that this point is landed, that what was the thing for you that really had you choose, I'm not doing this? And then say, like, it's like fork in the road, right? I could go down this way and I could do this, and I know it, and it makes me want to throw up just to even think about it. Or I could choose something different. What did it take from you? And not just maybe in that moment, but like after that. Because it's not like you make one decision,
right,
and then you're like, guess I'm done. Like, you get like
1,000 other decisions that, you know, a million, whatever. I mean, how many years ago was that? And it's like, what it took was trust, courage, faith. I mean, some people are like, oh, what is faith? You know, it's like, but it's honestly, it's trust. It's trusting that it's going to work out. And if it doesn't feel good, then you don't need to be doing it. It wasn't fun. It was no longer fun. I used to love being involved in real estate and helping people find homes and this and that and whatever. Like, I mean, I enjoyed it. I was good at it. And it was, but it wasn't fun. And when things stop being fun, like, time to move on, time to reinvent, you know, because things get to be easy and they get to be fun and they get to be playful. And if you're not enjoying it, then you have the choice to live in your misery or take a leap of faith, you know, and move on. And you know, some people feel like they're so, and I know, like, I mean, my dad was like this. It was like so deep, you know, intertwined and knotted up into whatever that they were doing. There was no possibility, like, no, oh my gosh, like, how could I ever get out of this?
Do anything else.
Yeah. And, oh gosh, that reminds me too of my hair. I had my hair kind of dyed, highlighted, whatever. And the girl like bleached it. And I don't normally, I've never really highlighted my hair or dyed it any other color besides black and brown. Okay. And so it's been, it was on this side of my hair. I had a giant dread, and it was like, my friends were making fun of it. They were calling it a pork chop. because it was like that. And it was just this like giant knot in my hair. And I'm like, I have a dread and I can't get it out. I was brushing my hair for hours and hours and then I left it in for a week because I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm like, I started talking to it. I literally started talking to it. I'm like, how did we create each other? What would you like me to do with you? I've been brushing you for 3 hours. And you're not coming out. Like I got the rest of my hair all like, I'm got it all wrapped up on one side of my head. And I'm just like, and this dread was just hanging out over here. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do with you? I'm like, I was like, I named it. I talked to it. How did we create each other? What would you like me to cut you out? Would you like me to wrap a bow around you? Do you want me to like leave you in and like we can be like, BFFs? Like, I don't know.
I'm so sorry, but this is profound. I can't wait to hear what happened. Okay. And
well, there was lots of laughs that we had over the course of Zoom videos and dinners with friends and me showing my dread and everything. I'm just like, oh my God. So in the meantime, I'm like, I've got this like blonde spirally thing that's like poking out here. So I'm like, oh my God, my bangs are like kind of like random now. And anyway, I finally had a come to Jesus talk with my pork chop. and cut it out. I just cut it out because I'm like, I don't know. I didn't create you intentionally in a sense, like consciously, intentionally. Maybe I did, like in my mind somewhere, but like, I don't think that you belong here. And it's like, have you ever read The Untethered Soul?
You're the second person. It's over there.
Oh,
I'm looking at it. It's over there. You're the second person. I had Journey Jill on. Yesterday, what's today? I don't even know. Your Journey Jill was talking about the Untethered Soul. Michael, somebody?
Yeah, Michael Singer. Yeah. A friend of mine gave it to me several years ago when I was living in Chicago, and he's like, "Here, I think you would really enjoy this book. Like resonate with it."
Yeah.
And it's one of those books that you pick up when you're ready to pick it up.
Love it.
Or when you see the signs for it. And
when you're paying attention to the signs, because the signs are always there. Yeah. So just tell me exactly what happened to this. So you just said, all right, listen.
Yeah.
I think it's time for us to part ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's time for us to part ways. So in the book, The Untethered Soul talks about a thorn, and you put an apparatus around it. You can do whatever you want. You can cover it up. And then you're in the forest and you're bumping it and this and that. And then you've got to, and it's like, it's covering up the wound that is there as opposed to just taking the thorn out,
Yeah.
And so that was coming to me when I was like, what do you want me to do here? I can sit here and I can like, try and brush you out for another 3 weeks or I can cut you out.
Wow.
Cause it was a big chunk. And then after a while, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, my hair will grow back. There's always more. That's another lesson in life. There's always more, there's always going to be more toilet paper. Like
there really is. Even if you had to make it out of leaves, like no joke. Here's the thing that's so great about this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
God bless America. Are we getting creative? Like really, okay, here's just a little secret. My husband shops. We shop at Costco and we shop all the time as if the world is ending. This is just him. Like we have 75 rolls of toilet paper and 15 rolls of paper towel all the time. So we had enough. But as we were like, well, maybe we should get some because now we can't get any. So it's like this, it's a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, there was no toilet paper anywhere. We have toilet paper, but we don't have any like of our normal backup. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, trust, like it'll all be fine. I will figure out a way to wipe my ass and wipe my kid's ass and my husband. It will all work out. And like, what did we used to do? What did we used to do before toilet paper? Like get inventive, like get creative. Yes. You will find a solution and it might be a new solution. And this is where creativity, like the human, when we're so, I love that you said the untethered soul, when we're so tethered.
Yes.
I've been talking about this. We're so tethered to the box that we operate in. Nothing else is possible. Well, I guess it's toilet paper again to wipe my ass, right? Like, well, maybe there's a better solution. Who knows? Who knows? But when we're so committed to the construct and the structure. And we can't say, well, what else can we do? Like, the burning question for me in this whole thing has been, now what? Okay, great. Like, my 2020, just like you're a photographer, you work with people literally in person.
Yeah.
It was going to be like events and let's go speak and let's do this and let's go here and let's create this retreat. Yeah. So when that all came to a halt, I was like, okay, well, now what? And that's actually what this was born out of. Well, now what? Now I don't know now what, but I'm just going to give. Like, I'm just going to give and provide some sort of like an additional way to look at this, which is the conversation that we're having.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the what I had just posted when I was sharing that we were going live, and I forgot to do a hashtag letting go of control, because I was like, I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but it's exactly that. It's like letting go of the control. Yeah.
And letting something else that you don't even know.
Yep.
Like, it's when we're controlling something. Trust me, like
exactly, same here.
Controller, right? And it's so great. It's so great to actually like be in a space of like, Jesus, take the wheel. I don't know, but what I do know is that everything's going to be fine. In fact, it's going to be better than fine, because I can't create in my construct what the next thing is to create, because I'm attached to this. So allow me, like, the letting go is one of the biggest, if it's not the biggest spiritual lesson that you've ever learned, it will be one of them is letting go.
Yep. And that's something too. It's like the first couple of weeks, I mean, I was in my own up and down and like, what is happening? And, I mean, we're all going through, like, this is so weird, like, and it finally, it's about that surrender. Like, letting go is surrendering to what is, and allowing things to be, allowing yourself to be, and releasing the resistance, releasing the grip on life and on your situation and circumstance, and just let it flow, let it fly. Like, I took a meditation yesterday afternoon. Actually, I was on a bunch of Zoom calls and my eyes were feeling heavy, and I'm like, I'm gonna go close my eyes for 20 minutes before I go practice yoga, and I'm like, and the moment I opened my eyes, I saw 2 monarch butterflies just flitting and twirling around, like, right above me. I mean, it was just such a blessing to, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, wow.
And who knows? Let's just say you wouldn't have, had you not just closed your eyes like the things that are available to us when we surrender and when we do let go and when we are open and when we're like, I know what I'm committed to. I had no clue what this whole interview series was going to look like, why I was doing it, but it was like, you just have to speak. Like, the message is coming through me where you just have to speak. No joke. Just interview people, like, share wisdom, share knowledge, share possibility, share what you've known forever and ever, and what I've been actually like working on behind the scenes. Go share that. That's what people need. And I'm like, okay. And then I think about someone like you, and I call you up and I'm like, you got to be on my show. It's awesome. All right. So I want to ask you how, I already know that, like, how are you like, we already talked about fun and that it gets to be enjoyable, but how do you infuse joy and fun and wit and laughter and humor into your day or your life? What's your favorite thing? You're always giggly, which is like one of the things I love about you.
I love it. And it's like, what you seeks you, in a sense. It's like, if I want to laugh, it's like I put that intention out there. I want to laugh. I want to laugh more. I want to have more fun. And then all of a sudden, poof, like, there's people that are funny that come into my life. Like, there's laughter and there's joy, and like, oh, imagine that. Like, it can be that easy.
Yep.
It can be that easy, to be able to snap your fingers and place your command, your desire out there in the universe, to God, to your angels, to our fathers and mothers and ancestors, that have passed. And it's like, they are listening. They are listening, and they are up there twirling around, making magic happen, and oh, this is what you want. Your wish is my command. You know?
Yeah.
Your wish is my command.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and honestly, like that's it. It's really about being, I mean, for me personally, like my experience is being in connection and in tune and connecting to source, you know, and that's about like being active, exercising, meditation, being mindful. What thoughts are going on in my mind? What thoughts are going on in your head? You know, it's like, are you beating yourself up for not doing enough, for not being enough, for not being worth it, this and that? Like, it's like, or are you loving yourself? Are you compassionate with yourself?
Yeah.
Because if you're compassionate with yourself, then compassion will find you. If you're not compassionate with yourself, then angst and disconnection are going to find you.
Yeah.
You know, like it works both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Okay. So here's the last question that I ask my people, my guests, my amazing angels on earth to come in and talk about. What's the meaning of life, MC?
Oh, wow.
Dropping that bomb on you.
Oh, yes. Thanks for the heads up.
No one ever knows. Don't tell anyone either. Do not tell anyone. Okay.
The meaning of life. The meaning of life to me is it is our birthright to be fulfilled and to be in joy. Woo! Feel the emotion coming, you know, and it's like, that's like when I feel like when I feel emotion welling up, like that's truth, you know, and that's truth for me. And that has been my biggest, my mission. It is my mission to find that truth, that joy and that fulfillment that I've been seeking my entire life. That's something that I knew that has been missing my entire life, that is coming into place like now. Like, I mean, within this last year, I'm like, whoa, okay. I got it. I'm on to something here, you know? And then I get to share that with people. It's the joy, it's togetherness. Togetherness is joy, you know, and fulfillment. It's all like part of each other.
It's what we're here for, what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take an extra large order of that, please. Yeah, I love you. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing yourself.
Thank you.
You have the one gift that is like the images and the quotes. What's the gift? Because I really love that gift.
Oh,
that you're going to give people.
It's I'm working on more. That's one of those things that's like, oh, now I've got time to work on some more creative projects, you know. They're quotables, MC quotables, and they're inspiring like little sayings like just breathe. Good things are happening. I don't know what else is in there, but I think there's 6 of them you can download, and they're Instagram, social media ready. Just some positive, you know, juju that you can put out there for people.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. So to get MC's gift, which I'm going to go get, because I want some of those, go to soulwitandwisdom.com and you can get access to her free gift. You can also see her interview again, and also her social media. I think you gave me your social media page and possibly her website as well. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being you. It's so amazing to me when I look around my community and I see the people that God has brought into my life, and as a gift to me to see the greatness in like you and know that that's in me as well. And so namaste, because I'm a yogi or a yogi. I honestly, I appreciate being able to have my greatness reflected in you. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Likewise, for sure.
I love you so much. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.